Welcome to the Two Can Talks podcast, where we bounce from topic to topic with our guests to give you an inside look at their life as a business owner. No question is off limits as we talk about what has led to the successes, the challenges, and more.
And this podcast is brought to you by Kickstart Studios. Kickstart Studios is Wilmington's newest video podcast studio. Equipped with multiple camera angles and an in-house producer, creating a high-quality video podcast has never been easier. Don't let the tech and gear learning curve hold you back from jumping into podcasting or created video content any longer. Our team takes care of it all for you so you can focus on the message you want to share. You simply show up, record, and receive the final product. No more wasting time setting it up and breaking down the gear, setting up lights, or doing sound checks on your own. Our in-house producer will have everything set up and ready to go for you. So check us out at Kickstart Studios.
All right, welcome to the Two Can Talks podcast. Today's guest is Nico. He is the owner of Maven Coffee here in Wilmington. Y'all specialize in specialty coffee, so it's not, I'm going to say, a normal coffee shop, and we can kind of get into what that means and why y'all went that direction and all that with our lovely can of questions. Today, we are also going to try coffee, which is exciting. And Luke is behind the camera and computers instead of Joshua today, which is a little bit different, but Luke doesn't drink coffee.
Yes, we had some conversations, and this is probably going to be the most important coffee of the year.
Yes, I agree, because for y'all that don't know, Luke is my husband. I love coffee. He does not. We cannot enjoy that together. So this is a pivotal moment. To
bring people together.
Yes, in our relationship. Can we get him on board? Not that he needs more caffeine, but we'll get there.
It should turn into a coffee counseling session.
Yeah. Luke, actually just pull up a chair.
Yes, I'll bring you in. Well, you'll be here to drink coffee.
Yes. So before we totally jump in, also want to shout out our sponsor for this month, which is More Than Clay. She makes handmade coffee mugs. I don't know if you guys can see on the cameras, but we have business card holders and little vases, all sorts of fun things. So you can use code 2CAN, again, like the bird, not the toucan, for 10% off online at morethanclay.com. So without further ado, how this little lovely game podcast works.
I'm like, yes.
Wait, what did I sign up for? You'll have these tokens. You'll drop them down the board. Sometimes they fly off. It's okay. It's part of the fun. If it lands on a 1, we have our business questions. If it lands on a 2, we have our more fun questions. And then we'll just roll through it. And throughout the podcast, we'll let you make coffee and we'll drink coffee and we'll talk about coffee. I think, Luke, how did we get? I don't know. We had a few team meetings trying to figure out the concept. At one point, it was almost going to be more of like, not beer pong, but like that sort of style. And like, that's going to be too crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna fly off. This is great though.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because as soon as I walked in, I'm like, yes.
We're playing a game. Also, I feel like it just makes the podcast interview portion easier because you can just, if a question kind of ends, you just go to the next one.
True.
All right. Well, we can jump on in. So you can pick anywhere in the board, and
there should be, I believe there might be a statistical deviation to where things fall.
Yeah, so there is one extra, like like business, just because it's supposed to be a business podcast, but
so why not?
Oh, okay. Well, we're jumping right in.
Yeah,
about coffee. So Toucan, our fun questions. When it comes to coffee in general, so I guess backstory for this question. When I was in college marketing course, I'm gonna knock this board down. We read a book called Everything But the Coffee. I don't know if you've heard of this book, but it was about how Starbucks kind of rose to being kind of dominant in the coffee world. And at the time, I was like, this is interesting because it was talking about like the atmosphere and like the consistency and like the marketing and how everything about Starbucks that made them popular was everything but the coffee, which in my marketing brain, I'm like, this is awesome. But then once I got a little older and out of college and not drinking terrible coffee, I was like, oh, actually, I'm just going to say it, your product is kind of terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but you've rose to like being so successful because you focused on anyways, all that to say,
Mm-hmm.
what makes specialty coffee like specialty coffee
Yeah.
and good
Like,
and not
why?
just mass produced whatever
Yeah. So
Starbucks coffee?
so the thing with Starbucks is like one of those things that people love to hate, and I particularly love them. Anybody that is taking away people from Folgers, and they're my
Yeah.
friends, and also they were pioneers.
Yeah.
So what they did was excellent, and just how they big they are is just a testament of their success.
Yeah.
It's not considered specialty nowadays by any standards, just because of the volume and
Yeah.
also the focus. But specialty coffee really is, um, um, you have in coffee is a trade. I mean, it's a commodity.
Mhm.
So you trade it, and there are commodity prices assigned to it. The price per pound is actually assigned by the stock exchange. So there are things that have nothing to do. It's set by futures.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with coffee. So that's the set price. Specialty coffee doesn't comply by those standards.
Okay.
So nowadays, I think I haven't checked today, but coffee is $2.30 a pound. If you adjust to inflation, it's the same price for the past 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So you have mass-produced coffees from farms that produce high yield, some varieties that produce high yield because it's agriculture.
Yeah.
So you are a farmer, you want to get as much fruit as possible. So that's your commodity coffee. Specialty coffee, it's going to be a completely different segment that really started shining more and more in the past 25 years.
Okay.
So specialty coffee, it's going to be small batches of coffee, small in the sense that farmers will usually yield 2 or 1 ton, like physical ton of
Okay.
coffee.
Cool.
And these coffees are produced in specific areas. They undergo specific processes to produce an excellent quality of cup. There's a term in coffee that has been borrowed from wine. It's called terroir. And it's basically the consolidation of soil, agricultural practices, climate, and that makes that product great. For example, was what we know as bubbly champagne or champagne comes from of champagne.
Yeah.
And champagne here is just bubbly wine. But if we want to have champagne, it has to come from that region.
Yeah.
Because the acidity of the soil, the grapes, the kind of grapes, how they're harvested, how they're pressed, like all of that. Luke probably knows a lot more, so I'm not going to get into the wine side of things. But specialty coffee is so because it's excellent. This is a funny analogy that I give to people. It's like if you grew up thinking that a steak is what you find inside of a McDonald's burger.
Right.
And then you go to a butcher table place and then you are served an aged ribeye. And you're like, oh, what's that? That's steak. Like, no.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But what? No, that's not steak. This is steak.
Yeah.
Like, they'll blow you away. So also another aspect is the price. So price per pound is negotiated. There's several ways, and there's like a whole rabbit hole of negotiating price. But on specialty, normally it has nothing to do with that bottom price.
Gotcha.
To give you an example, $2.30
Yeah.
per pound. There's been some coffees that we paid $75 per pound. That's green. That's just to say that coffee's mine. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
You still have to transport that coffee. You still have process that coffee, roast that coffee, package that coffee, then freight that coffee. So that's just the cost to say that's mine. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference. And to the farmer, this means a livelihood.
Yeah.
There's a really cool study by a guy called James Huffman. And he actually reviews some further studies into economics of coffee and say that if you're going to the store and buying anything less than a $10 bag of coffee, pound of coffee, you're making the farmers, putting them into debt. So there is no way a farmer had been able to make any money if you're buying a bag that is like, it was like probably not 10, it was probably like 8 or 5. It's not 10, but 8 or 5. So you actually make them lose money. That's what makes, in a nutshell. And of course, when you drink it, is a completely different experience. That it's not about the caffeine and the boost in energy, always there, but it's more about the flavor. So that's It's a longer answer, but
I love it.
that's why specialty coffee is specialty
That's
coffee
cool.
compared to other coffee.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Let's drop another one.
Let's shoot. One.
Business. Let's see. Okay. Also, we have some questions. I don't know if I explained this. I can't remember. Some are standard for everybody, all the guests, and then we have some specific to your specific business. So we'll see what we get. Okay. So when you guys opened or were like planning to open and you knew you were going to go this direction of like, I'm going to call it a premium brand. Is that how you would say it? How did you decide like, okay, we're going to position Maven as a premium brand? Like here's like what we're going to do that. What was like that thought process?
So my background is in government studies in finances and international relations and commerce.
Cool.
So I wanted to import and export products with added value.
Cool.
I didn't know anything about coffee.
Okay.
I didn't know a thing.
I just assumed.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I'm Colombian. I guess that I'm like required to in my citizenship test. Like when I get my ID,
coffee.
like there's a coffee question
Yes.
here. No, but I did know, and this is looking back is so silly. But I would on school there was a coffee shop in college, and I would always ask for the coffee for a cappuccino. But I said, can you make it from the machine? Not from that pot that has been sitting there.
Yeah.
That's all that I knew, which is looking now, it's like super silly, but I didn't know anything. So I wanted to bring to export and import trade goods with added value. I have a friend who is the CFO of the biggest specialty roaster in Colombia and is one of the world barista champions. Cool. That house has the world barista champion. And she kind of like, I told her, look, I just want to import coffee.
Yeah.
Because Colombian coffee is special.
Yeah.
I grew up knowing that, but that was the extent of it. So she said, look, let me show you the ropes. So I think it was a blessing. I think I was kind of like supposed to jump into it because I was able to start learning how to drive on a Lambo.
Yeah.
Like I was given the keys to something incredible. So I learned it. So from the beginning, the understanding of this is just not volume. Let's just bring in a container of stuff and sell it. This is more about the experience, the farmers, the what goes behind the excellence. So it was focused in that. So it wasn't like, okay, we have a lot of competition. There's 50 coffee shops here.
Yeah.
What should we do different? It wasn't like that. I just happened to be encountered the right thing at the right time and have the right mentorship.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's when I decided to bring in Maven, which the name Maven means connoisseur in Yiddish or expert in a particular matter.
Yeah.
So we deconstructed to experts in matter of taste. We said, all right, I don't want to sell coffee. I want to sell the best coffee experience.
Cool.
So it was more about, let's start at the top. Let's start with the what if that's difficult, if there's little volume of that. We didn't know.
Yeah.
So let's just start with that just because we love this so much and I fell in love with coffee. So let's just bring the best of the best and let's just work with that wherever that takes us.
Yeah.
So that's
cool.
Why.
I love it. I feel like this is a good segue if you want to start the coffee making process for people and specifically just for me so I can drink some coffee.
So you're into Maven though. So
yes, let's talk coffee, whatever direction you want to go.
So speaking of coffee, so I'm going to brew,
These out of the way.
and you're going to be a part of this as well, Luke. So
he gave us a thumbs up.
this right here, shameless plug. No, I'm kidding. But no, so this here, it's a coffee. So when you have specialty coffee, when you're looking at it back, so okay, what does this mean? So how do I choose a good coffee? So traceability is key.
Cool.
So traceability is expensive, but traceability matters. Like when you buy a wine.
Yeah.
If you say, I'm going to have some guests, I'm going to have a special occasion. Let's buy a really good wine, something memorable. You're not going to buy a carton that says wine.
Yeah.
You're going to look for a bottle.
Go to that Trader Joe's box.
Exactly. Just pop it and no. But you look for a bottle that shows you the importer, the vintage, the region. When you have those things, you're like, oh, like this is great. So instead of having the box that says wine, you have this, I don't know, this Argentinian Cabernet, the year. You even have the importer, the name of the vineyard. You're like, oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's called traceability. So that means there's a high quality product, and that goes along with many things, even in blueberries as well. But in other commodities, traceability is extremely important because it's something special. So therefore, it matters to trace it. So I'm bringing a coffee that has some slight cotton candy sweetness at the very end.
Okay.
It's a natural process, meaning that there's fermentation involved. And this is probably the most important coffee of the year because this will determine whether or not we can get Luke on board the coffee train. And he's hiding behind the monitor. Yes. So we'll see. We had this conversation in Charleston, but let's see if I can live up. So just some hand grinding. So, I mean, basically in coffee, something really fun is also, I don't want people to feel that they need to spend thousands of dollars at home. Look, if you have an excellent coffee, you can strain it through a sock and it's going to be delicious. So, I brought up hand grinder because freshly ground coffee is great. If you have great coffee, freshly ground coffee. I'm about to be finished. So we're gonna brew, and this is called an origami.
Okay.
It's brewing method. It's this little thing over here. This is the base, and this was designed in Japan. Does ridges matter? There's physics fluid that are involved, which is super nerdy. But how fast the water flows and how flows it matters. How much contact time, how long the contact time is. So when you see, it's like, oh, this coffee is so good. Why?
Yeah.
Well, it's a combination of the coffee is excellent and also we're trying to do justice by it.
Nice.
It's like buying, again, with the steak, it's like buying a very expensive steak and you're not going to throw it in the microwave.
Yeah. So. We had leftover steak last night, actually, and I was just over everything and ready to eat dinner. And I was like, Luke, I'm about to throw this in the microwave if you don't come heat it up. And he was like, don't you dare put that in the microwave. It was already cooked. It was from the night before. But I was like,
what do you do? What do you do, Luke?
He reheated it on the cast iron.
Nice. Butter?
Yeah, butter and olive.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
I was about to get in trouble.
So also people tell me, should I buy an espresso machine? No, don't buy it.
Great.
Don't buy it. Why do I say don't buy it? Well, actually go and buy one. It's the best thing ever. But chances are you don't have a scale at home. So if you want to make excellent coffee, just start with buying really good coffee and then things to help you brew it well. So a scale is everything. So we have hot water. It was heating up.
It's probably about a year ago, I broke our carafe on our coffee maker and it was out of stock. So in the meantime, I bought a French press.
Yes.
At which point we do have a food scale. But then I was like, okay, this is not an easy morning. Throw it in the coffee maker anymore. I was like weighing the coffee, trying to do the water, and I was like, luckily the carafe, because just for me in the mornings, I'm like, I just need push a button. Yep, I just need a button.
I get it. That's the thing. Sometimes a morning ritual. Sometimes that's why Starbucks is so successful. That's why. What are those pods? The
like the Keurig and the Nespresso.
The Nespresso. Yes. That's why they're extremely successful. Yeah. They're the worst.
But yeah, I bought one and it's literally terrible.
Yeah, but they're so easy.
It's so easy. It's so easy. It's like when I just need. It's in the office.
There's a time and a place for everything. Look, do I drink the most expensive coffee every single day? I don't.
It's the second most expensive.
Just a second. Now,
what? Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Do you want me to do a?
Oh yeah, you can show it.
The real price.
Infomercial.
Price is
Call
right.
now. First 500 callers.
Yes.
We'll get a signed bag. So this is a drip method. So the ridges on this method cause the water to flow a little bit different.
Okay.
And this particular method allows for the coffee to be a little bit sweeter and a little bit fruitier if those notes are there. So it's going to take probably another 50 seconds. So while we let it brew,
just watch
we just watch it really. But I'm curious because you've been around, but you've probably drank the most coffee at Maven. You haven't, but Laura, you have.
Yeah.
you being around. So
Yeah.
what was your impression when you first saw that we got Maven going?
From the very beginning.
It was so quick though.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because everyone was like, "Yeah, Nico is opening this," and I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know who Nico is, and they're like, "Yeah, you do," and I'm like, I literally don't know who Nico is. But Jacob, my brother-in-law, obviously your friend, and his space is over there as well, was like, "No, it's gonna be really good coffee," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I tried it, and I was like, "Oh wow, no, this is really good coffee." And it was great. Location is great. I guess we could plug that while we're here. So you guys actually are right down the sidewalk from where we are now. But I always tell people just right behind the crepes place.
Yes.
It's like the most, that and Whole Foods on Oleander.
There's a beautiful cup waiting for you, Luke.
Do you want me to bring it to you?
Yeah, we have to
I don't
bring
know
it to
how
him.
the camera is going to work on this.
It's fine.
All right.
So just do like you do to a wine. Just smell it. It's a little hot, but smell it. There's this concept called retronasal olfaction. Basically means that 60 to 70% of the things that you perceive when you drink come from your ability to smell the thing. That's why when you're sick, food doesn't taste good. And it's a little hot, so I will leave it just a little bit. Just let it cool down. That was great. So as a business, everything started for me loving coffee.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, Diana, when she was in Colombia, she actually manages, she managed all the franchises for this specialty roaster.
Oh, cool.
Like no nepotism. Like she so happened to apply. I don't remember how it was, but I had nothing to do with it. Things were meant to be.
Just worked out.
I just fell in love with coffee. We got married and it became our thing. She loves coffee, so that's great. That was our little ritual. Like our Sunday brunch was our time. And I really fell in love with it, got an espresso machine, got into it like really deep, like got bit by the bug, started educating myself, became a member of the Specialty Coffee Association, which is a worldwide entity that is all things specialty. There's billions of dollars being traded when it comes to specialty in the coffee industry in general. So I just became really, really good at making coffee.
Yeah.
Some people
I would agree with that.
Thank you. You're kind. So people said, dude, you have to start a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And it was always a pushback because it was the other way around.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to.
Yeah.
So I had a really good honeymoon with coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I approached coffee with pure passion and love.
Yeah.
But with no incentive to make it a business right away. Of course, that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I know how to import. I know how to trade. I know how to do these things and pretty much kind of like a commodity broker. But people say, you have to open a coffee shop.
Yeah.
No. And I got that feedback. Like, dude, you have to do it. You have to do it. I started doing a couple of pop-ups for fun. But the time, I just didn't want it to. And then talking with Jacob, I used to work. I used to do something completely different for a Swedish company, and it was just not me.
Yeah.
It was just not me. It was good, but I wasn't passionate about it. And we decided to build Maven. We had the brand. We have the domain. Like everything was in place.
Yeah,
we have the domain.
Like,
we have we have the brand. We had everything. We had supply chain. We were ready.
Yeah.
And we said, all right, let's do it. Let's just not do a direct to consumer online.
Yeah.
Let's have a showroom. So I talked to Jacob, will it be beneficial to have a coffee shop in the lab right at the office? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
So I knew from the beginning that I didn't want it to be a coffee shop. I didn't want it for people to come in and sit down for hours because there are so many places that are valuable for that.
Yeah.
And there's about 250,000 people in Wilmington. I cannot have all of them.
Yeah.
So when there's other coffee shops, I mean, there's so many people for so many coffee shops that why should I do the same?
Right.
Even if there's an excellent coffee shop, there's no competition. There's way too many people for competition to be present. So let me just do what I want to do and let's just excel at that because I love it.
Yeah.
Of course, when it's a business, you want to make sure that you're making money.
Right.
And we decided to build, we built it in it was a span of Probably a month.
Yeah. I remember
a
walking
little
over
bit
there
more.
and it was like the wall was going up and I was like, oh, wow, this is happening.
Yeah, well, the actual build, a month. The
Yeah.
planning was like 3 months.
Nice.
And I remember that I left in great terms, like went our separate ways. That was a Friday.
Yeah.
And Monday, Labor Day, that Monday was Labor Day. I opened Maven.
Oh my gosh, it's about to be your, I don't know, how many years is that?
Yeah, so 3.
3.
3 from the concept being
Okay.
born, and 3 from the it's about 3 years, I think,
Nice.
from the showroom. I mean, still
Like, okay.
standing.
Yeah.
We actually, that was past, like, through COVID. So
Yeah.
and that's how
awesome.
it started. So
All right.
how do you drink coffee like a coffee pro? Nah. No, pinky up. No, but seriously, just smell it, and your moms are gonna hate me for this, but slurp it.
Okay.
Be careful not to choke. So you slurp a little bit, and you can take a little bit of air. Now I'm the one choking. So that allows the molecules to move, and then just focus on the sweetness. And when you're drinking water and when you're drinking milk, they feel different just for the amount of oils and fat.
Yeah.
So there are oils present in coffee.
Okay.
So that when you see fancy words like body, that's how it feels. If it's heavy, or when you're finished drinking it, are you left with that burnt cigarette taste?
Yeah.
Or there's like a fruitiness that just stays for a little bit longer. What's that residual? That's called the finish. So, this one's fruity. There's, it's a great coffee. There's a little bit of interesting bitterness, and at the very end, is this very hint, like almost sweetness that is not like a strawberry sweet, not like a banana is sweet, but more like cotton candy is sweet, but just a little bit, and it dissipates.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome. I did. Our friend Ashley had the strawberry one day when I walked down there to kill some time, procrastinate on probably whatever else I was supposed to be doing, and I tried hers. That is literally crazy.
It's insane. It's a coffee that tastes like strawberries.
Yeah.
It's not, doesn't have any chemical added to it. There's no flavors added to the coffee. But it's this particular farmer in Colombia. He's renowned because he has provided the winning coffees for the Australian Brewers competition.
Oh, cool.
He's been in world barista competitions. His coffee.
Yeah.
So it's a producer that, I mean, I cannot believe that I get to work with his coffees, because they're like incredible and known all over the world. But yeah.
Very cool.
How are you doing with that coffee, Luke? Good. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not converted to a coffee guy yet, but
this is fun.
This is the least abrasive coffee I've ever tasted.
Yes, and this is just a very look. There's some other things that are insane, but this is like a really. I wanted to bring a coffee that had a little bit of funk, but it was still a very quintessential coffee. Because there's some coffees out there that are insane. Like, coffee is a fun thing. Like when you get down to the rabbit hole, it's fun. Like you get.
Yeah, the mouthfeel when you swish it is very interesting. That's where I get all the fruit.
Yeah.
When it's on my cheeks.
Yeah, just punchy. It makes you salivate. So when you have that like, it doesn't dry your mouth or whatever, but it kind of makes you salivate. It's drinkable. Is like fruit punchy. So it's nice.
Okay. Might be onto something.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, that's pretty much how the showroom started. And of course, I had the blessing, and one thing that is important is that it was not my main source of income. And it was funny because there's a story, and I cannot, I'm Christian. And a huge part, if not the quintessential part of why the business is still standing, is because God.
Yeah.
That's just a small story. Before the pandemic happened, everything was perfect. The finances were incredible. Everything was like...
You're like, we have arrived.
Yes, we have arrived. I'm buying a shotgun so I can get all the bankers that want to give me free money out of the door. Like, it was insane. It was great. And it was the perfect time to start the business.
Yeah.
So we sat down with Diana, my wife, and we're getting, of course, people that love you. They spend time with you. They know what you're thinking about. So they want to champion you in a way. So we were getting like, no, go ahead and do it. And we said, this is this seems is a wise decision. If we're
Yeah.
running numbers, this is a very prudent time to start it.
Yeah.
But everything was perfect, but it just didn't. I had this hunch. It's like, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I prayed about it and I didn't hear yes. So for me is, do I hear yes? If I don't hear anything, that's either no or wait.
Yeah.
So I waited, and the pandemic happened. And we were okay.
Yeah.
We had all the signs were there to start business. So we would have failed, especially in the service industry. We would have lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic was about to happen.
Yeah.
I went to the Amazon and came back. That was January, February. We're looking to do things, and the pandemic hit. We had nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
We would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
To get something started and actually be in a lot of trouble if that would have been the case. So we realized that it was also timing. So probably hear from people, they either take a risk because they're catching that window, or they are waiting for that right moment. So there's no rush and things are just working. You need to work a lot, but things are just going well. In our case, I had to push back the need to get this started. And we actually, at the tail end of the pandemic, we were doing pop-ups just to get traction, just have fun. We were doing remember when we were opening the lab?
Oh yeah.
Move the furniture around.
Before the walls.
Yeah, before the walls. We just moved furniture around. We got this really nice, we wanted to just dip our toes in the water by doing events and weddings. So we got a little cart, like customized, very pretty cart. And we just set up camp on Saturdays for 3 hours. We opened the doors and moved the furniture around. And the pandemic happened, so we just stopped. And we didn't do anything else. And then at the tail end, people were asking, like, where are you? Like, what's up with you guys? Which was really cool. And then we were able to. And I think that's if I would have not been sensitive to the right timing, to like really see that, okay, everything's perfect, but that doesn't mean it's the right time. It might be good, but it might not be beneficial.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the why we're still standing, or why we started when we started it, and not before or after. So
No, that's awesome. I love it. All right, let's see.
Want me to shoot for another one?
Let's see what happens.
All right. I don't know. I'm gonna do it for
you.
One.
Let's see.
And as it cools down, that coffee is gonna taste different. So don't finish it. Well, there's more.
Luke said he noticed. We need to add a mic for back there.
Yes.
It's on the list. Let our producers back there have an input. Okay, so what advice would you give to someone either about to start a business or early on in their business ownership journey?
Be willing to change the name if the domain is not available.
Yeah. What we did was we did .co instead of .com, and that's obnoxious for people.
We started because I wanted to trade commodities. So the company started, and the name is there, and we have it as Maven Imports.
Yeah.
Then we switched to coffee, and we were blessed enough to have the .com, but we were willing to let go. So that's one advice, especially when you're early. You probably have an amazing idea, but it's okay. Let go. Learn to let go from the beginning. Make sure, try to get the .com. Believe it or not, so people say I'm terrible at it. You might be the expert on this, so you might need to teach me. But I heard that all the 6 and 7, all the 6-character .coms are taken. There's no room for phonetically making sense, or at least in English.
Yeah.
So I started. I along with somebody else. How can I put this? So I was helping. I'm part of the process of starting a company in overseas.
Yeah.
And we were able to find the .com of this company, and it was like great, and that helps. I am not into digital marketing. You are, so
no, it
you might tell me that
it's
how
good to
important
have
that
a
is. Yes. So that was nice. Another thing is you can make money anytime. Don't rush it. And maybe that the most difficult thing for me has been learning to let go. I have I have 2 kids, I have a 3-month-old as of the time of this recording,
Yeah.
and a 2-year-old. Um, but I had somebody told me one day, because you always hear, oh, it goes by so fast. And everybody tells you that. And I heard it like everybody else. But this guy told me one day, look, I was working so hard so I could retire early
Yeah.
and have a lot of money so I can hang out with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
So when the time came, so there was a time when they wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't available. So when I was ready, I wanted to hang out with them, and they didn't want to hang out with me. That's when it clicked.
You're like, oh gosh.
So it's difficult because I want the business to be successful. That requires me to be there to work. But also for somebody who's starting a business for the first time, if you don't have huge capital, learn how to be flexible, learn how to ask for help, and take input. That has been great. I mean, I had the blessing also to have great people with great input.
Yeah.
And that's not taking it away from me. That's just, I have a generous community. So have a community that can support you, not necessarily, or it could be financially.
Yeah.
If you have an angel investor, do it. That's going to force you to look good. So you need to have consistency in your finances. You need to apply fiscal responsibility to what you do, so you can be accountable. Get the .com if you can. Change the name if you really want that .com, or not is fine. I'm not the expert, but I was told that was a little nice thing to have. And wait, you can always make money. Yeah. Money is just a matter of one good contract. It only takes one good contract, and you can have a lot of money coming in. But if you have kids, there's no other time in life. They're only going to be 1-year-old once. Yeah. There are some things that only happen once. Money, it doesn't exist. Money can come anytime. Yeah. It needs to, and it will. But probably learning how to discern seasons, which is really like people to get paid the big bucks. Yeah. I was listening yesterday that throughout the financial crisis and for the past 11 years, if you look at the CEOs of different banks, there's all of them have changed except for one. And this particular CEO is an expert on understanding what happens and when it would, or where it would not. So it's just discerning times. And maybe the most important one, I call it the honeymoon, because I in what I do, not only I do retail sales and do coffee experiences, but I help other businesses set up their bars and people that want to start their own coffee, because we do wholesale. And I tell them, before you jump into coffee, I have a woman that texted me. It's a customer. She wants to start a coffee business. Said, please tell me that starting a coffee truck is a bad idea.
She needs someone to talk her out of it.
Yes. But what I say is have a honeymoon phase, in the sense that spend the money that you can and just enjoy it. Yeah. Maybe all you had was a drive to have a really fun hobby. Yeah. And not an actual business. Yeah. You might love it, but you might not be good at it, or you love it and you need time to get good at it. Yeah. So I think that allow yourself to have a honeymoon time when you're in the kitchen or out there, because I mean, this is like service industry. So food and service. So get to know people and just like do it and save a lot of money. Yeah. Save up. Yeah. Save up. That would be my 2 or 3 cents.
Yeah, no, that was good.
You want to do the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, but you do it.
I do it.
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Oh gosh.
Let's see.
One time
it flew off.
Yeah. Two. Okay. Do you want to? Well, some of these are questions for you. Okay, I'll pick one that's not a question for you.
Do I switch it? Do I read it?
Oh, I don't know. We're in uncharted territory here. Or you can just ask me any random question.
Go ahead, and then I'll
okay.
I'll ask.
Oh, I've already had this one. Okay. What is your spiciest opinion that most people disagree with?
Ooh.
This is on the internet.
Oh my God. Coffee related? Business related?
Anything. It could literally be anything. It can be business, coffee, life.
Business related. I don't think that they disagree, but it can ruffle some feathers. The most important person on a shop, it's not the barista, it's the cash register.
Oh, okay.
If your employees are a reflection of their owner, meaning that if they are not willing to share information, that's coming from upstairs.
Yeah.
And it's a really bad business idea.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to hide, and I'm generous with information because I own it and nobody. I mean, it's here, it's unlimited. But that is for me, that's good business. There's the secret sauce, but also there's no secret sauce. So when I go to a place and you have bad customer service, you should not be in business, because in the service industry, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're behind a computer running numbers, okay, you can be a jerk.
Yeah.
But if you're in customer service,
exactly,
so don't send them an email and hear the numbers. That's it. But if you're in service, be authentic. But you're there to motivate people. You're there to just reflect.
Yeah.
What you're passionate about. Something that it's just difficult, man. There are some really touchy subjects.
Yeah.
Man,
you don't have to go that route if it,
well, I'll go with you don't need a 16-ounce latte.
Okay.
You don't need it.
Okay.
You don't need it. Sometimes if the coffee is good, I tell you this with authority. If the coffee is good, you will be satisfied with very little.
Yes.
You don't need a 16-ounce latte.
That's fair.
It's bad. And that's probably coffee wise. Yeah, I will see this. Let's keep it on the business side of things.
I like it. Perfect. I probably don't need a 16-ounce latte, but sometimes, especially if I'm working, I do want just a large amount so that I can just constantly be sipping. Yes.
Gotcha. So
more of like a habitual. I probably should just drink water.
True. That could be also not drink it now. That coffee for most people will be like, you don't drink coffee that is cold, but drink it now. It almost tastes like a fruit tea. It's cold almost, but it's citrusy. Good coffee tastes better.
Yeah.
All right, let me do
good.
Another one.
Dun dun dun.
Tip.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so you guys were on Buzzfeed last year.
Yes.
How did that come about?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
Okay. I didn't know if it was something that was like planned in some sort of way. Okay.
This is what happened. So just like any other day, I was there just like any other person. Came in. I am who I am. I want every single person, regardless if they are a barista, they've been in the industry for 10 years and they have traveled to origin, or if you're a college kid that doesn't know anything about coffee, I want them both to have the best experience possible. Yeah. So this couple came in, and they just had a great time.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, she says, so, hey, so I am the food editor for Buzzfeed. And I'm like, wow.
That's cool.
I'm not going to, I didn't pretend, because sometimes you want to play it cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nice. Very, very nice meeting you. Have a good day. I hope she talks back to me. I hope she says something. No, I mean, that was like, I recognized that would have been you could be like awestruck for a second.
Yeah.
I recognized that. But I was just genuine and said, okay, I'm just not going to hide my excitement. Like, wow, that's amazing. And she said, would you be okay if we featured you?
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding? Like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Of course I'll be okay. Like, please do. But I knew what she meant. They say, we're built for the heat.
Yeah.
So maybe that's another thing. In the daily, have a rainy day fund. In business, be prepared for a lot.
Yeah.
Don't overspend.
Right.
But have your
be ready.
Yes, be ready.
Yeah.
Have your SPOs to be aligned. So if you get that big contract or if you get that big order, you can deliver.
Yeah.
you just need to get the people to execute. You just need to execute, but you know what to execute.
Right.
So we're built to, our business is set to handle up to within reason, because it's about shipment, it's fulfillment.
Yeah.
Within a 1 week fulfillment, about 1.5 tons of coffee.
Cool.
So we're built for that. We're ready for that whenever
Yeah.
it's ready. So I knew what she meant. I told her, look, we're ready for the heat.
Yeah.
We're ready for the heat. Go ahead.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, I can't promise you anything.
Right.
Nothing might happen, or this could be a lot.
Yeah.
And I understood that. So I was ready for whatever. So I told her, yes, go ahead. We didn't pay for it. They didn't ask us any money for it. And that was beautiful, because it was very organic. It was a blessing. We didn't email them. We didn't do anything. And then she sends me a message and she sends me of course I was looking, but I think this was Christmas on the 25th or so. And I go on Buzzfeed and I find it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I get a message from her. It's like, go to number blah blah blah, because it was a list.
Okay.
Of course, it was not a front page, because probably you have to pay for that a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it was there, like, go to, and it was a really nice feature, and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was awesome, and that's how it happened. That's how
cool.
it happened, and I cannot get any stars for that, because.
Well, I mean, I think you can, because you just like of who you are in the business, like you were treating your customers well and like offered a good experience. If you were just like, meh, here's your coffee, that probably wouldn't have happened.
That's very true. That's very true. And it's center about the experience. I want people to follow our motto. My motto for business is something that I took from a very famous bass player called Abraham Laboriel. And he says that music is not a sport to compete, is an art form to share.
Yeah.
So I think the same way about coffee. For me, coffee is not a sport to compete, is an art form to share. So I want everybody to walk in the door to fall in love with coffee. That's our motto for the company, for last year, is fall in love with coffee, and this year as well, fall in love with coffee. So I think that was really cool, and that caused that, or it was ready for the right opportunity to arise. So that's how BuzzFeed happened.
Very cool.
We got a lot of really cool feedback from that, and
nice.
It was fun. It was a blessing. I'm not gonna downplay it.
Yeah. From the, I guess the business side, was that like successful being
it
like
generated so I actually didn't know how to really capitalize it, because I was looking at it in a very, not naive, but I was just enjoying it, and I wasn't so, all right, this is an opportunity, let's execute something out of this, which I recognize that I might have done a better job. I could have done a better job if that would have been some of the headspace. But yes, it draws some people. It draws some attention, because that it's a huge platform. We got orders, of course. Online traffic went up. And it's also a really cool thing that I didn't know it was a thing, but I get to say as featured on
BuzzFeed. Yeah,
on
you
BuzzFeed.
do.
So it's a thing.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we normally end with the same 3 questions. Obviously, one of them will be great for you guys, given the future. First one, where can people find you?
Yes.
Or Maven?
Yeah, so we are at 3816 Oleander Drive in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Dun, dun, dun. Behind Our Grapes and More.
Yes. MavenCoffee.com.
Cool.
Underscore Maven on coffee underscore CO. Also Instagram, if you can get the right handle. We were trying, but I think I have the Maven Coffee and I lost it.
Oh no.
But it's a Maven Coffee CO. MavenCoffee.com. You can find us if you're in Wilmington. Now we ship coffee all over the world, but it's faster all over the US and Canada. So MavenCoffee.com.
Puerto Rico takes a second, especially if you have to go to the post office to pick up your mail.
Ashley this was bizarre. Ashley, when she was there, they order coffee on a Thursday. I think I shipped it Friday and it was there Monday.
Oh, wow.
She
said
like, what?
They did it.
I know Hawaii is the longest transit. It takes 7 days.
Okay. That's not bad though.
No.
Nice. Love it. Okay. What is next for you guys?
What is next? World domination.
Dun dun dun.
Next, we are upfitting, changing the experience at the Pioneer Lab, which is our showroom. We want to focus on showroom experiences. We want to service specific and strategic spots. Instead of just having the one coffee shop,
Okay.
we want to partner with businesses that will enrich us and that will be enriched by us.
Yeah.
So we're expanding.
Very cool.
It's about 2 weeks that you guys take to release this episode.
So this will be out actually next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week.
Just-
There will
don't know what that
be
date is.
we're gonna have a second location.
Okay.
It's gonna be in a really cool part of town. We're
Sweet.
blessed by where it's a great partnership with. As you say, next week is fine. We're gonna build a second store at Lumina Station.
Oh, cool.
So that's as far as the store
Yeah.
and business is concerned. We are starting to work with trying to source some different coffees and trying to get more involved with other companies in Germany to push some really cool products and really really tech focused coffee things. And next will be also be a little bit more involved in coffee education and competition, because believe it or not, and this is not like trying to this is not hyperbole. There's been instances in the last couple of months where the best coffees in the world have been here in Wilmington.
Oh, cool.
We had the blessing of having the coffee that was used for the World Barista Championship. We had it. We sold it by the cup, and it was the best coffee in the world. So people here in Wilmington have, from time to time, the opportunity to taste, no hyperbole, the best coffees in the world. So we want to open those experiences for people. So that's pretty much what's next.
That's exciting. And then lastly, is there any thoughts you want to leave our lovely guests with?
Yeah, go and drink some great coffee. You don't need to buy an espresso machine. For like coffee consumers, go and buy a really good coffee. If you're not in Wilmington, support or even if you're in Wilmington, support local. That's great. That means a lot when you leave a good review. We're talking off camera about reviews.
Yes. Don't leave a 4-star review and say everything was great. Just
4 stars.
Just
Do
put
the
it at
5.
5.
Do
just only leave 5-star reviews. If you have feedback, just contact the person.
Yeah, no, like seriously, feedback is so important. Did you know that big companies like Walmart, Costco, they will actually drop their marketers if their customers, or will do really serious feedback if when they get feedback from customers. Like, your feedback matters.
Yeah.
And this is like, oh, it's a huge company. No, it is a thing, because I had to deal with that on another end. So that as the business side of things is concerned, be patient, safe, fiscal discipline is extremely important, because that'll get you out of trouble. We had the blessing of not having any issues, but just timing. And if you you have the blessing to do what you love, keep doing it. You don't have to leave your job right away to pursue your career. You can test the waters. Nobody's telling you no, and nobody says that you have to leave everything. Just be wise with your time and save up.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, and
Thanks
for the
for having
coffee, and for having Luke drink a whole little.
Yes,
he did it.
It's empty.
It's empty.
It's looking like
so,
this.
5 stars all around.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks.